Hello, it's great to be here with everyone today. My name is Ariana Fanning, and I am the moderator for today's event, Celebrating Emerging Talent. I'm the co-leader for IFF's colleague community, NextGen, a community for early career professionals here at IFF. Outside of NextGen, I'm actually a business segment leader in our health and biosciences business. I joined IFF via DuPont and have been with the company for 3 years now. One reason today's discussion is so near and dear to my heart on a personal level is that I actually joined DuPont via the Management Leadership Development Program as a summer intern and accepted a full-time offer at the end of summer 2018 and have been with the company ever since. So I fully believe in the value of internships and co-ops, and I'm really excited for today's discussion as we are here to celebrate some of our emerging talent. Today we're joined by 4 young professionals, 2 interns and 2 co-ops who will introduce themselves shortly. We are also joined by Frank Clyburn, CEO of IFF. Welcome, Frank. We're so glad to have everyone here today. Let's get started with the discussion. Frank, it's so great to be with you here today. As I mentioned, we have 4 great young professionals with us, and they're interested in learning more from our CEO. We're going to do something a little bit different today. Rather than a simple panel discussion, each of our guests is going to get to ask you a question, and then you get to ask them a question as a group. How does that sound?
That sounds great, Ariana. Thank you.
Great. Before we start into the Q&A, could you share your thoughts on the importance of internships and other training opportunities for young professionals and the value that you find they bring to companies such as ours?
Sure, Ariana, and good morning, everybody. Actually, this is one of very, very important program, and I just want to thank all of our emerging talent. I would say 2 things. One, the benefit that internships provide to anyone that is joining a company in an internship. It really gives you an in-depth early perspective on how a company operates. It shares with you a little bit about their culture. It also gives you an opportunity to get valuable experience for your resume, which I can tell you many companies look at, colleagues, people that have done internships as a way to differentiate yourself in the future job market. And then lastly, the experience you get also, I think, can give you insights into what it is that could be of interest of you in the future. And I've always said that you really need to think about in your career journey, what excites you, what are you passionate about? And there's no better way than an internship to allow you to better understand even more about yourself and where your interests are. For the company, a company like IFF, what is so beneficial to us is it gives us a chance to bring in new thinking, new talent, new ideas, creativity, and IFF is focused on innovation, and we need emerging talent like yourself to come join us, share with you different perspective, different ideas, which we can then really help and take forward into the broad organization. So I actually see this as a very much a win-win for both our emerging talent as well as for IFF.
Great. Thanks, Frank. That was very insightful. I love your comments on the value of being an intern and getting to use that experience to learn about a company's culture, but also learn about yourself and your own interests and passions. Great. Love it. Okay, now we're going to move on to Q&A round 1. Today we're going to feature 2 interns. First, we have Aranza and Stephanie. I will ask Aranza and Stephanie to go ahead and introduce themselves, and then after some introductions, we will begin our Q&A.
So hi, buenos días. My name is Aranza Rodríguez Alvarado, and I am a chemical engineering student at the Instituto Politécnico Nacional located here in Mexico City. And I work as an intern at the Digital Operations Division at the Command City. And our objective is create digital solution to optimize process. I've been here for 8 months working with Edgar de los Santos and Oscar Ureñas, and this has been an incredible experience from the beginning. They have made my internship a learning zone, and now I know where I want to take my career once I'm done. Thank you.
That's awesome. Nice to meet you, Aranza. I'm Stephanie Tago. I'm the talent management analyst intern. I work under the TM and LD team here in New York under Mike McDermott. I'm currently doing a project looking at IFF's project management processes and system and giving insight and examining the research data and best practices to see where we can take the current performance management system and see if there's anything that can be improved or what's doing really great and what's working, what's not working. So it's been a great experience to go straight from school into work with an organization and put all that theory and practice into something tangible.
Great. Thanks so much, both. Aranza, I'll turn it over to you to ask your question.
So my question is, the internship program is a great help to the students mainly because of the experience we acquired during our stay. Currently in Mexico is going through a great unemployment crisis. Specifically, the chemical engineering area is in third place of unemployment with 8.5% according to the Mexican Institute of Competitive. According to your experience, what are the main strengths that an intern should develop during our stay to enter the labor market, and what extra knowledge can help us to be better qualified to work in a chemical industry?
Aranza, thanks and for all you've done and welcome. I would say a couple of things to think about is one, clearly when you do an internship, really working with the colleagues at IFF, learning as much as you possibly can in the time that you're with IFF is really important. Also doing things that maybe have the folks in Mexico that you're working with see how you stand out, see your energy, see your excitement about what you're doing. Also always helps. And then combining that experience with also obviously, doing very well in school and continuing down that path is going to be really important. But what I find is, typically there are interns that really make an impression on the people that they work with. And they always kind of get a feel for, wow, I could see that person wanting to be a part of IFF, and we can see that person wanting to come join a company like IFF. So those would be some of the things I would really think about and really diving in and learning as much as you possibly can in the period that you're doing your internship.
Thank you.
Stephanie, would you like to come on and ask your question?
Sure. Hello, Frank.
Nice
Nice to meet you. So my question is, how is IFF aligning its business strategies and the overall organizational culture after the recent acquisitions and doubling its size?
Yeah, that is probably one of the big tasks that we have in front of us, Stephanie, from a number of different, really great companies coming together and merging. One of the things I've been spending time with our senior leadership on is, we really want to be a innovative led growth company. And what that means is a company that really is focusing on bringing innovation to our customers and consumers around the world in a differentiated manner, better than our competitors can do it. But to do that, the cultural element is so key, Stephanie. We have focused on two aspects of our culture. One is accountability and wanting everyone to feel strong ownership in the roles they play in IFF, and also making sure that there's full transparency as we're integrating and bringing these companies together because there's going to be issues that pop up, Stephanie, every day. But if you're open and transparent about them and really feel a sense of ownership, we think that's really important from a cultural perspective. And then the second element, we're spending a lot of time, and we kind of call it one IFF, but collaboration. And we need to bring together the different experiences, diversities that we have across the company to really bring the power of one IFF to our customers and to other stakeholders. So accountability and collaboration are the cultural elements that we're focused on, and obviously aligning our resources around our best growth opportunities.
Very insightful. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks so much. That was fantastic. Now we're going to get to turn the tables, and our CEO will get to ask our young professionals a question. Frank, do you have a question? And if the two interns could come back on camera for Frank, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, my question really is probably more about what did you learn about yourself as a result of working at IFF?
Well, I study while I work, so mostly how to do a balance between these two. So how to manage my time and that I can learn by myself. Mostly of my work is my managers told me what I need to do and give me some ideas, and I took some courses to do my show so that I can learn by myself and be good at what I do.
Great. Stephanie, how about you?
Yeah, definitely piggybacking from what Aranza said, time management is something that I'm really developing in this role. You get something to do and you have to figure out the best way to look at it. And people are available, but you have to take responsibility and see like what you can do and how you can do it. So it's really great to have the chance to manage things on my own time and be able to see the delegations and responsibilities I have going on from the day to day, especially in a post-COVID world.
Great, very helpful.
Thanks both. I love the comments on the time management development part. Managing a work project is very different than managing a school project, right? There's no syllabus, there's no deadlines. I mean, there's some kind of deadlines, but there's not really a syllabus where they say, okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It's here's your project. No, go deliver, please. And we're here to support you, but you need to raise your hand if you need the support. So I think it's great to be able to be an intern and practice that kind of that skill in a somewhat safe environment, knowing that it's a little bit different from school and getting out of your comfort zone. So great. Thank you both. That was fantastic. Now I'd like to introduce Ike and Katie. If they could come on camera, that would be fantastic. Perfect. Now we're joined by Katie and Ike. I could just ask if Katie and Ike could just stay on camera kind of for the duration of the engagement. That would be great to avoid any camera lags. Perfect. So we have Ike and we have Katie here. I'd like to ask Ike and Katie to please introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Ike George. I'm a manufacturing technology engineering co-op at the Gibson City site in Illinois. At the Gibson City site, I work on the extraction side of things, so sort of the upstream processing of the soybeans and extraction of oils and proteins. And I've had a great co-op experience so far.
Hi, my name is Katie Sanders, and I'm a chemical engineering student, but I've spent the past few months working as a manufacturing technology engineering co-op in the Nourish division, also at the Gibson City, Illinois site under Darren Moore. I worked with Ike, but I was more on the protein solution side, so just creating soy protein solutions.
Great. Thank you both for introducing yourselves. Ike, could you kick us off with a question for this first round here of Q&A?
Of course. Hi, Frank. My question for you was, what type of a leader are you? Are you more hands-on and good at managing associates, or are you better at delegating tasks and giving constructive feedback?
Thanks for the question. I actually think that question is really an important one because I don't believe that leaders can really say that they're one or the other. And what I mean by that is much more situational. And there is a old, management book that I remember reading actually back, I think when I was doing some type of early career in internships. It was called Situational Leadership. And what I try to do is I think it really depends on the team member, the person, the situation. And what I mean by that, Ike, is and sometimes you do need to be a little bit more in the detail, hands-on, depending on the situation, as well as depend on the colleague that you're working with. Maybe they're brand new and they really need help in helping specific kind of tasks to get done. But then there are other people that are very experienced that you work with. Really, they have a good idea of what needs to be done. So you're empowering, you're helping just to maybe guide here and there, but you're really letting them run with what needs to happen. And you're there really for support. So I would probably say, Ike, it's probably a little bit more situational versus one specific style or another specific style. I think as leaders, we have to be more on the servant leadership side, but also we have to really be there for our teams and people and be able to adapt our style to what's happening in the specific situation, as I mentioned.
All right. Thank you so much.
Katie, I'll turn it over to you. If you could ask your question, that would be great.
Yeah, of course. Hi, Frank. My question for you is, how do you feel that your previous roles have prepared you to take on being the CEO of such a large company like IFF?
Yeah, Katie, it's been quite the journey. And I would say I was very fortunate enough to have some really good mentors throughout my career, Katie, and I would recommend that all of our interns really start to think about that early on. Who can be your mentor, somebody that can support your career journey, someone that also is tough on you when they need to be tough on you as a mentor. So that was very helpful in my career. And then the other roles I've had is I had more and more levels of responsibility from a line management perspective. But I would say probably it was just the people leadership roles. And my last role, I had a chance to lead about 20,000 people when I was in my previous company. And I think that was probably the biggest preparation. IFF is approximately 25,000 people. So, the scale of people leadership was within the ballpark. So I think that probably is the most important thing is as you continue to grow in your career, the technical skills you bring, the knowledge that you'll bring in whatever function you have, but ultimately, getting a chance to lead people in a significant way is probably the best thing that really prepares and helps you to be the leader of a company going forward.
Thank you.
Frank, do you have a question for Katie and Ike that you would like to share?
Yeah, I'm just curious, Ike and Katie, what do you think is the best part about working for IFF? As you guys have had a chance to now be a part of IFF, what did you enjoy? What was the best part?
I'll say definitely working with the people. Some of the people at the Gibson City site are some of the smartest and nicest people that I've grown to get to know. as well as I think one of the coolest parts was meeting so many people from different backgrounds. Coming from a chemical engineering background, I thought I would be primarily working with chemical engineers, but the co-op gave me a real good chance to explore different fields as well, such as working with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, operations, maintenance folks. And so I've really come to enjoy that aspect of the co-op, as well as growing interest into sort of like electrical engineering and the control side of things, which I had not been experienced to when I first joined.
Great, thanks, Ike. Very helpful. What about you, Katie?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Ike said. We had the opportunity to work together, so we also got to work with a lot of the same engineering team, and they have definitely been some of those great, tough mentors when you need them to be, but really caring and really helpful mentors, like you were mentioning before. But another thing that I think is one of the most valuable experiences I had is, as a chemical engineering student, we do so many problem sets and so many calculations on things like pumps and what's this flow rate, what's the pressure, like all those kinds of things. But getting the chance to see those pieces of equipment in the field in person has been something that is so incredibly helpful. And going into this next semester, taking some more technical chemical engineering classes, I think that'll even be helpful with my schooling, having now seen all those things in person, as well as carrying on to my future roles.
Great.
Thanks, Ike. Thanks, Katie. That was great. I love hearing about your new experiences and your new opportunities from your co-op. It sounds like you both added value to the company and are bringing away value, which is really what this is all about. So thank you both. I'd like to ask all of our interns to come on camera. Frank, we have a kind of a last closing question for you before some final thoughts. So thinking about the experience that you have now, kind of looking back, if you were in our young professional shoes right now, and you know what you know now, having all the CEO experience and all of the training and experience from kind of past roles, what advice would you give yourself if you were in their shoes at this age?
Wow. So this, you guys will get a little chuckle. I do have a son that just, well, he's into the workforce now several years back, but did a number of internships. So, I'll caveat what I'm getting ready to say, because him and I've had a chance to talk about this not too long ago. But I would say a couple of things. Number one, this is a great time in your life and in the start of your career journey. What I would really say is make sure you take the time to really do your homework and think about what is it that's going to excite you? What is it that you're passionate about? Oftentimes, you'll feel like I've got to get a job and that's fine. But then that job doesn't end up being what you thought, and you look to go to another job, or you look to go to another job. And what I would say is really take the time to think about what's going to get you up in the morning, what's going to energize you, what's going to excite you. What is the company's mission? What is the company's values? And values are so important in really understanding the company's values you're joining and also your values, because those two should match up as best as possible. So that would be some of the things. And that's what an internship really allows you to kind of see kind of in person, right? Because you'll get a feel, does this, feel good when I show up at this internship? So those would be some of the things I would say is for you to think about. And then the other part is I would always say aim high, aim very, very high, depending on what you would like your career journey to be. I think sometimes, as you're entering in and working in an internship early on your career, you're thinking, well, it would be great if I could make it maybe to be a manager or make it to be, a director one day, but aim high. You guys are great emerging talents. The world is needing your talent more than ever, especially what's happening in this global economy. So, aspire to do great things. Also, I think you have to think about the communities that you live in, and that's a part of our major focus from an environmental and societal perspective at IFF, but really think about the surrounding communities and how you can work and engage and help others along your journey. So those would be some of the things that I would think about. And if I had a chance to go back, which would be a while, that'd be a couple years, a lot longer than maybe I want to think about. But if I had a chance to go back, those would be some of the things I would really want to think even more about.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that was fantastic. I'm really glad that we were able to have this insightful, inspiring conversation. I certainly learned a lot, even as the moderator. So I'm so glad we could have this discussion today. We're able to celebrate emerging talent as well as our fabulous CEO. Before we close our call, Frank, any closing words or final thoughts you'd like to share about the value of young professionals and the value of programs such as this?
No, just thanking everyone for all that you've been able to help do at IFF. So I wanted to start there. The value to me, as we were discussing earlier, is it can be so impactful because you're bringing new thinking, new ideas. I was listening to you, Katie, about what you are learning in school and now seeing it real time, but you're also bringing maybe some of the latest thinking that's going on in school, right, to IFF, which can be very insightful and helpful to us. In addition to that, and you mentioned it, Ariana, I think that having emerging talent, especially right now with what's happened around our world, think about it. We have, a travesty going on. We have a war happening in Ukraine. We have huge challenges from a COVID perspective, lockdowns in China, as well as many of us have never worked in an environment where it's primarily virtual in large parts of our company. There are people, even as the CEO, that I haven't met yet, some senior people, because it's hard to get to them to be able to travel. And your experiences and talent can help us to think about what's going to be required in what I kind of call the next generation of talent and for companies to be successful. We need to better embrace different ways of working, embrace and improve our diversity as a company, which is a major focus. So your ideas and thoughts around those things can really help us as a company, which is why I think this is such a great program. So I wish each one of you well in your, I guess, back in school. And then I also wish you well in your career journey, and just so thankful for what you guys brought to IFF. Okay.
Thanks so much, Frank. We really appreciate your time. Are there any closing thoughts from any of our interns or co-op members? Sure, Ranza.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with all of you. This internship has really been a great experience, and I have learned so much skills that I know I will be using in the future. In these months, I've met a lot of people from the company, and it's always a pleasure work with them. I'm really impressed with the great quality of the people that work here, always helping us to be better. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and it has been a really great journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Aranza. Anybody else with a final closing thought to close us out? Katie?
Yeah, I'd also just like to say thank you. thank you for taking the time to meet with us and kind of answer our questions. It's been a really unique kind of opportunity, so I really appreciate it. And I also have had a really great experience with my co-op. I got to work from January up until this past couple weeks ago. Friday was my last day, and I've had a really great experience, met some really great people, and learned a lot about myself and about the company as well.
Katie, thank you all very much for joining this fantastic discussion. We sincerely appreciate it. I certainly learned a lot myself, and I hope everyone else did. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys. Wish you well. Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
you.